We're fighting against robots at the lead deck headquarters today, and we're going to win. The humans are going to win. That much I know. The humans are going to win. So the live today is the one deal a week blueprint in real life. I'm going to walk through several examples of in my own business of following the three-step blueprint, the different avatars, shepherd, farmer, fisherman, and then actually doing some outreach using lead deck as well. I'm going to unpack all of that. And if you want a more interactive experience and you want to be able to see my screen, etc., you should come join the free school community. It's just one deal a week in real estate. And it's school, SKOOL, one deal a week in real estate in the school community. And you'll be able to see my screen. You'll be able to ask questions, etc., etc. And no time like the present, so we're going to get going and rolling right now. Let's see here. Okay, let me record. Okay, one deal a week blueprint in real life. I'm going to walk through two specific scenarios in my business right now and how I apply the three-step blueprint in those scenarios. And I'll also give, for example, each of them is a real-world example of how something we talk about in a lot of these trainings is there's only three ways to get clients: as a shepherd, as a farmer, as a fisherman. And the fisherman strategy is our proactive way to fill our pipeline quickly, consistently, predictably, etc. But we want to get business from all three of those strategies. And so I've got examples today that are that in practice, and then how we use that result as the reason or the bait to then go fishing for more business, more opportunities, and compound and multiply our results. Once again, if you're watching on one of the other platforms and you want to a more interactive experience where you can see my screen, you can ask questions in the Q&A chat, etc., the link should be in the description or in the profile, whatever. It is in our free school community. It's one deal a week in real estate is the name of the community, and it's SKOOL. Here is the first property that I wanted to use as an example of the blueprint in real life. This is a property that the property owner first entered my world from a digital farming strategy. Okay, so we talk about the shepherd, the farmer, and the fisherman. He came into my world through a digital farming strategy. I was offering a free Perry County home price report, and this was late in 2024 or early 2025 is when he opted in originally and landed in my CRM, in my Bold Trail account. Because he was active and engaged, I effectively then adopted him as part of my herd. In other words, the shepherding strategies that I then started to leverage were, number one, my monthly home value update digital marketing campaign, which we did a deep dive on yesterday's Lead Deck Founders Club and Accelerator Mastermind. I walked through exactly what that is. It's a campaign or a playbook that I run every month to engage with the existing homeowners in my database. It is a shepherding strategy, and the way I get more people getting that each month is by farming and fishing, right? So that was, he came in from a farming strategy. I then started sending him the digital campaign every month, and I added him to my monthly market update postcard, which I shared yesterday as well. We on the AMA, I think, and it came up in the mastermind call as well. Eventually, the thing that got Ben to finally raise his hand and got me in person so I could take photos, etc., was the reverse offer strategy. The reverse offer strategy, which is I asked, would he consider selling his property to a private client of mine? That got me the appointment. So I meet with Ben. He's an older gentleman. His wife passed away sometime in 2025 or 2024. And he's got growing, medical concerns, etc. And his daughter recently purchased a home. And part of the reason why they bought that was it had a place to accommodate taking care of Ben. And he's finally at the point where he's ready to move on from this property. Now, in that conversation with him, he was very adamant that he wanted to sell it privately. He did not want to have to put it on the market and have a bunch of people come through, etc. Even though from my conversation And from me, wearing my fiduciary hat and thinking about his best interests, I believe we should run the 7-day stress-free home sale. Like, that is what's going to get him the most net equity with the least amount of hassle. And I've got more and more case studies from that, several recently, 2 from this past weekend, in fact, where we get properties sold in a weekend and we establish the very highest and best price, the most the market will bear right now, meaning the highest price a willing and able buyer is going to pay for the property. Regardless, he is adamant that he wants to sell it privately for cash. So what do I do? What do I do? Well, this is the blueprint in real life. And the first thing we think about is the 3 buckets of buyers. The 3 buckets of buyers. Number 1, do I have any pocket buyers that would be interested in buying Ben's property? The answer immediately was yes. I had 3 or 4. There was Beth. There was, I can look them up because pocket buyers, by our definition, right? Let me stop the screen share. Pocket buyers, by our definition, are buyers that we have in our pocket. So this property is in Perry County. Perry County is a very rural county to the north of us. There's 1 traffic light in the whole county. And I say that to say that the buy box of the pocket buyers that I have in that county pretty much buy anywhere in the county. So I have saved in my phone some pocket buyers. There was Beth, there was Brian. Dana was actually a portfolio buyer, which is the second bucket that I reached out to when after I met with Ben and he was clear and adamant that he wanted to sell it privately. That's the next step. So first step is pocket buyers. Who do I have? Now there's a couple. Oh, here, see all. So I had Jason. That was another one. Jonathan. And I think there was 4. I think there was 4 pocket buyers that I already had in my phone. Now I've talked to 2 more portfolio buyers. I went and found the portfolio buyers in Lead Deck, which it was a very small bucket or very, very small target because it's a very rural area. I went and found those. And the wild thing about that is I have had 100% connection rate with the ones that I've reached out to. I've reached out to 3 portfolio buyers using Lead Deck about this property, and I've talked with all 3 of them. And time permitting, I'm going to call the 3, because there were only 6 of them in Lead Deck, because again, super rural area. I'm going to reach out to the rest of those 3, time permitting, this morning. Pocket buyers, portfolio buyers, then institutional offers or buyers. This property is so rural that the institutional offers and the platform that we use, there really weren't any good options for it because it's so rural that it doesn't fit their buy box. That's rare, but it does happen. I would say that the majority of properties, in fact, I forget what the exact stat is, but I'm going to say it's north of 90% of all residential properties in the United States. There are some amount of potential institutional offer options. Okay, this one, for whatever reason, it wasn't. And I probably could dig a little bit more. I could go directly. We have basically a marketplace of those offers. I could probably dig a little bit deeper and actually get those options for him. But I already have several off-market interested pocket buyers and portfolio buyers that are now in my pocket as well. One other thing I did with this specific use case is I sent an email to all of the contacts in my bold trail that have Perry County as a hashtag or an interest area. And that generated me a couple of additional parties, in fact, one of which is going to go and see it this weekend. Okay, what else could I do thinking about this blueprint and using Lead Deck? Well, I'm going to pull up my Lead Deck account and highlight a couple of things. So number one, I'll bring up the portfolio buyers. I said here there are 6 of them. There are 3 of them that I haven't contacted yet. Okay, and I spoke with Richard and his wife Dana. That's one you can see 2 touches there. I spoke with Daniel, and Kate is she has verbally agreed. We have an agreement in principle. She just has been, she's been away on vacation and she hasn't seen it in person. So she's going to see it in person early next week. And if it checks out, we will probably proceed with Kate buying Ben's property completely off market. And in that case, my compensation will be from brokering or facilitating the transaction. Okay. So there are 3 more on here that I'll get to that I haven't even gotten to yet. But I just want to emphasize this point. There were 6 portfolio buyers here. I reached out to 3 and talked to all 3 of them. Does that happen every time? Absolutely not. And yet, if I treat them and think about my outreach with them as like I have got to talk to this person because I know that I have something that they have demonstrated on public record that they might be interested in. And that level of conviction and commitment to getting into conversation means I've actually talked to all 3 of the people in this portfolio buyer bucket that I've reached out to. There are 3 more. I will likely get to those later in the session here. So that's one example of the 1 deal a week blueprint in real life. Now, what will happen, because this is part of the reverse offer strategy, what will happen if we don't sell it privately? In other words, we just can't come to terms that make sense for Ben. He has already agreed that the plan B will be to run the 7-day stress-free home sale. He would just prefer that we exhaust every possible or possibility to sell it privately as is off market. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do because I have the plan B already in my back pocket. In a lot of cases, what happens is plan A ends up being the 7-day stress-free, and plan B is the pocket buyers, the portfolio buyers, or the institutional buyers as the backup plan if we aren't able to get it sold for top dollar using the 7-day stress-free, which most times, almost every time, we are able to. Okay? Let me give you one other example. This is a property that I will have coming soon later this week. And that will be on the market next weekend. We're going to sell it in a weekend using the 7-day stress-free home sale. This is a property that my buyer agent back in 2021, I think, helped purchase this property. So what is that? That is someone that is part of my herd, right? I'm shepherding in this scenario. I don't remember how I think we got Duncan from a farming strategy. The property owner of this, way back when, right? This is 6-7 years ago now. So past client, I have Shepherd playbooks that we run on that. He's on my monthly market update postcard. He gets my monthly home value update campaign. But what got him to the point of thinking about selling, and we have now been working on this for like more than 12 months, him selling, is he is distressed. And he's in some early stage of foreclosure, and he just doesn't want to have the hassles of home ownership. What got me that opportunity again is the reverse offer strategy. In other words, hey, Duncan, would you consider selling 10 Greystone Road to a private client of ours? And now we've been working through options and possibilities now for quite some time on his behalf. What am I going to do with that result, right? So I'm not going to simply, I'm not going to play the MLS slot machine. What does that mean? I'm not simply going to put this in the MLS, pull the handle, and hope that I hit the jackpot. No, much the contrary. I'm going to use this result as a reason to have more conversations so I can multiply the results. Not just multiply the results, but also that activity, that work will help ensure that we get the best result for Duncan. That's theoretical. What does that mean in the weeds? Well, the 3 buyer buckets. I had up on the screen here institutional offer options. We have those for him. However, with the amount of debt he currently has and the way the best of these offers are structured, there's not a lot of room here. And if we can get him a number like, in the 260s, 270s, 280s without or with significantly lower fees, not only will he avoid foreclosure, but he'll actually walk away with some equity. And that's what we want to help him do. But to illustrate the fact that I don't just theorize or prophesize these strategies, I actually use them every day in my own business. Number one, we think about the institutional offer bucket. Number two, the pocket buyer bucket that I have. Okay, so what does that look like? Well, in this case, the most likely buyer, the one that will pay the most, is going to be a retail buyer. So I'm going to go into my bold trail. And I'm going to search for, I'm going to go property interest, and I'm going to choose Carlisle as the property interest. Now, this is one strategy that you can use to identify pocket buyers that you have available to you in your MLS. You might also be able to leverage, if you're part of a team, which by the way, side note, if you are a team leader, the strategies that I'm talking about here, the blueprint and the process of maximizing and creating as much leverage out of every result possible, when you get your whole team doing this, the production of your team will multiply exponentially. And it's a big reason why we have recently released the enterprise version of Lead Deck, specifically for teams that can plug their agents in and proactively start facilitating transactions and not simply relying on the MLS slot machine, where we put a listing in and we pull the handle, or we put a buyer in and we pull the handle and hope that we hit the jackpot. So I put in here, I have no idea how many because I didn't do this ahead of time, but I'm just curious, how many contacts do I have in my bold trail that have Carlisle as part of the criteria that they're interested in? And it looks like I have 615. So what am I going to do? I'm going to email and text all of them about this coming soon listing, so I can create interest and potential buyers for the listing. And if nothing else, it gives me a good reason to have more conversations so I can uncover, does this property actually fit what you're looking for? And if not, what can we go and find for you that might fit your criteria? So I'm going to email and text all of these folks. Now, I'm not going to do that today because when I do that, it creates a bunch of conversations, and I want to be able to actually facilitate those conversations. But maybe I'll do that tomorrow, and maybe I'll even go live tomorrow and do that. What else am I going to look at? So that's pocket buyers in this case. I'm going to think about, do I have any pocket buyers investor-wise in my phone? Well, let me search for Carlisle. Yeah, I got one. Hold on here. I got 1, 2, 3-ish, 4, 5. So I've got a bunch of people that I can just let know, hey, I've got this coming soon listing. It could be a good long-term buy and hold. This is not going to be a good flip opportunity because of just a whole bunch of factors. It would be for an investor, it would be more of a long-term buy and hold, and that is the conversation I will have with them right here. Look at this, Kristen Bowers, Carlisle buy and hold landlord. Well, why don't I just, instead of theorizing, watch this. So it says Carlisle buy and hold investor. This is someone that the reason why she is a pocket buyer is because I found her as a portfolio buyer target in Lead Deck. I had a conversation, and now she's in my phone. So what does that message actually look like when I reach out? It looks like this. Oh, I've had conversations with her before. Hey, Kristen, it's Josh with eXp Realty, period. I've got a ranch property home coming soon in Carlisle, period. Seller is very motivated, period. It would likely be best as a long-term rental, period. Is that something you might be interested in, question mark? And if not, Who do you know that might be interested? Question mark. Simple as that. Direct outreach with that. If nothing else happens, so regardless of what response I get from Kristen, yes or no, there's opportunity to be had, because if she's not interested and doesn't know anyone who's interested and she's not buying anytime soon, the next question I'm going to ask, because she has a portfolio of properties, is, do you have anything in your current portfolio that you might consider an offer on right now? Because I'm going to be talking with a lot of people, and maybe we could match it up. Maybe we can match it up. Okay? So that's as simple as that. Now, that's from pocket buy. So we had institutional. We've got this property, right? I've got this property. I've got this result. And in an attempt to do everything I humanly possibly can for Duncan to help him get the best result, I think about institutional offers. I think about pocket buyers. What about portfolio buyers? Well, I'm going to go back over to lead deck. I'm going to go to lead targets, and I'm going to look at, if I go buyers and I put in the zip code, there are 2 zip codes in Carlisle, so I'm going to pick the zip code that this one is. I've got 35 active landlord buyers. These are people that own at least 5 properties, and part of their portfolio is in 17013, and they bought at least 1 property in the last 3 years. I am absolutely going to reach out to those 35. In fact, why don't I do this? I'm going to select them. I'm going to say I want all 35, and I'm going to create and run this target, because then when I log on my phone, I can just tap my way to more conversations. Those conversations lead to connections. The connections lead to contracts, which lead to closings and compensation for your boy right here. Okay? I have a reason to have a conversation with them. I have an off-market deal that could be a good long-term buy and hold. Is that something you might be interested in? Look at this. 6 properties, 5 properties, 187 properties. I've talked to him before. I need to reach out to him. I think I think I have him as a pocket buyer. 5 properties, 6, 22. I've got this beautiful audience that I have a reason to reach out to, where the odds are stacked in my favor because number one, I have a reason to reach out to them. I have something that in a best case scenario, they are interested in and they want to make an offer on. Worst case scenario, I'm able to understand better what their buy box is, so that the next time I come across something that fits the buy box, I will be able to directly reach out to them and match that up. And then all of them own multiple properties. So we always ask, do you have anything in your current portfolio that you might consider an offer on right now? So I've got 35 of those. This is how we play the game in real life. And that's how I treat it. We're just playing a game. I just created a pond of 35 that I can go fishing in. And I have bait, which is an off-market property. And even if I didn't have the bait, here are 2 ways that I can reach out to these portfolio buyers. I could ask or lead with, hey, it looks like you're a pretty active investor here in Carlisle. Are you looking for any off-market deals right now? Or, which is something that we will be testing, which is, if you saw the very beginning of this, we were talking about humans versus AI and how we're gonna win, is I could reach out to them and lead with the question that I typically save until the end, the magic question, which is, hey, it looks like you're a pretty active investor here in Carlisle. Do you have anything in your current portfolio that you might consider an offer on right now? Yes or no, I don't care. No, I don't. Great. Are you looking to add to your portfolio now or anytime in the near future? You're going to get a yes to one of those 2 questions. 80% of the time, Sean, is that fair to say? 90% of the time? I mean, I don't have empirical data that I can point to. I can just tell you anecdotally, it is really hard. It is really hard to not get a yes on one of those. I've got something that I would consider an offer on, or I'm buying. Usually the answer is yes. Now, I can remember 2 times where I talked to somebody and I say, are you looking to add to your portfolio? No. Not right now, or not anytime in the near future. Not really, I'm just whatever. Anything in your current portfolio? No. And even in those cases, I remember one that by the end of the conversation, he was like, send me what you got. I can't help myself. If it's a good deal, I might consider it. Reasons to have conversations. Conversations turn into connections. The connections turn into contracts, which turn into closings, and that's how we get compensated. What do you got?
No, these people are the most likely people to want to talk about real estate on any given day.
And yet, some of you watching this are thinking, well, those people are only buying cheap, rundown, crappy properties. However, let me juxtapose or give you a different perspective, which is we ran this playbook, which, by the way, if you are a team leader watching this, we would love to do this with your team. And we'll make you an irresistible offer. We will completely reverse the risk for us to do this with your team. We did this with an office in Nashville 3 or 4 weeks ago. We gave everybody participating in the challenge. We did a 3-day challenge. We can do it as a 3-day challenge, or we can do it as a 1-day boot camp or a half-day boot camp, whatever. We started with portfolio buyers. We gave everybody 10. Vic, who's I'll call her a brand new agent. I think she got licensed this year. That's pretty brand new. The first person she talked to on that list, which I think was the second or third person in the pond that we gave her, the 10, the first one turned into a $750,000 listing. Because all of these portfolio owners, they also own their primary residence. And sometimes you get lucky and they're just thinking about, or they've just started to think about trading up or downsizing. Just ask the questions. You start with a good reason to reach out. You ask good questions. One thing leads to another. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay? I don't know why I said bada bing, bada boom, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, that was cringy. My kids would be like, they would be cringing right now. Okay, so there are two in real life examples. And why don't we actually? So that's the clouds. Let's get into the dirt. Which is I'm going to log into Lead Deck, and I'm going to start by reaching out to the 3 portfolio buyers that I have not contacted yet for Ben's property. Okay, that was the real rural property. And, there were not that many portfolio buyers just because of the nature of that. And so there were 6 of them there. Okay, 6 of them. I've reached out and I've connected with 3 of them. I'm going to choose the right sequence. And I'm going to do something that I should have already done, which is if you're a Lead Deck user and you're reaching out to portfolio buyers and you connect with them, I would highly recommend that you heart them, because that moves them into your My Buyer deck. So I've got Richard and Dana that I needed to move over there. That one that I've connected with, Daniel Durr, and Kate. Kate is the one that we have an agreement, a verbal agreement for. She just wants to come check it out. So now I'm going to filter. By the ones that have no contact history, which is 3 of them. Okay. So I'm going to filter by the ones that have no contact history. And so for some reason, I have to hit all to show it. I don't know why. Weird, but whatever. Okay, so this one, they own 5 properties. Their primary residence is in Shermansdale, which is nearby, Elliotsburg. And the first number listed is on the DNC. So what do? Well, I certainly don't pout about it being on the DNC. What I do is I copy the number and I paste it into a Google chat. And interestingly enough, this looks like it's actually a real estate agent. I mean, if that doesn't illustrate something hilarious, I don't know what does. So he's a real estate agent, and his mobile number, which is a great mobile number, it's an easy to remember number. He's got it on the DNC. Which is like he's telling the world that he doesn't want to talk to people, even though as a real estate agent, we got to talk to people. So I'm going to call him because his number is publicly listed as the number with his business. I always leave a voicemail, and then I will text to reference the voicemail. And I think I have an email for this one as well. While you're waiting, if you're on one of the other channels, it gives you a good time to join the free school community. Joe, hey, it's Josh Shanley with eXp Realty. So I'm calling about a property up in Elliotsburg. I've got a client who would prefer to sell it privately off market. And it looks like, I don't know if it's you or your dad or somebody owns some properties up that way. And so I'm reaching out to see if it's something that you or they might have any interest in. It's a 3-bedroom ranch on about an acre and a quarter. I can send you photos, get you more details, whatever. This is my personal cell. If you wouldn't mind, let me know either way. And I greatly appreciate it. Thanks. So, voicemail. Hey, Joe, period. This is Josh with eXp Realty, period. I just left you a voicemail, period. I was reaching out about an off-market 3-bedroom ranch in Elliotsburg, period. Curious if you might be interested, and if not, who you know that might be, question mark. The rest of the numbers are all DNC, and I don't care because I have the right number. Either, like, I know that I talked to the right person. He said this is Joe. I can see that he's a real estate agent. I can't quite tell. The name is Louis J. Ulrich. So I am guessing that this is him, and he goes by his middle name instead of his first name, is my guess. The email addresses... Yeah, I'm going to tap the email. Okay, I'm going to tap the email. 2 taps, and away we go. 2 taps, and away we go. There was 2 of those. And I'm just going to... I like demonstrating stuff here for you. If you're a lead deck user, you're thinking about maybe checking out the 1 deal a week jumpstart program, which there is a link to, with whatever... It's leaddeck.ai/jumpstart, but it should be with the description. That's a great way for you to explore the platform and the functionality, and you get 75 leads. And I'm talking like, these aren't like, lame internet leads. These are, you get all of this data, 5 properties. He owns them all free and clear, he and she. It's pretty good. Pretty good. I'm going to hit done for the week because no other contact info came up. And I'm going to go to the next one here. And then what I will do is after we finish with these 2 in this deck, I'm going to pivot to those 35 portfolio buyers for Duncan's property. All right. So, Steven's best contact number listed is a landline. It's a business line. This will be good. I'll share what just happened there after I'm done with this, but this is... Check out the links in the description or my bio. It's a good time to do that. Stephen, hey, this is Josh Shanley with eXp Realty. I know I'm calling you out of the blue here, but it looks like you are a pretty active investor in Perry County, and I was calling about an off-market ranch home in Elliotsburg, and my client would prefer to sell it privately to someone, an investor, and so that is my reason for reaching out to you. I'm curious if that's something you might be interested in, and if not, who you might know who would be interested. If you could let me know either way. This is my personal cell phone, 717-571-0456. 717-571-0456. Thanks. Now, here's the lesson that I want to share with this. And it illustrates, at least in my experience, how I seemingly get better results than many people that are theoretically following the blueprint. This number, this primary number, so first position number not on the DNC, was a business number with an automated reply. Some people would just hang up. I don't know what to do. I'm just being curious. So I let the message play, and I'm listening for a way to connect with Stephen, because there's some reason why this number is attached to Stephen. Option 6 was tap 6 to talk to Stephen. That's who I'm trying to talk to. So why would I not tap 6 to talk to Stephen? So I left a voicemail. And notice in my voicemail, I will always say, if you would please let me know either way, because I just want an answer. I don't want to open a bunch of doors and just leave them open. Although I tend to do that in my kitchen, and my wife, she loses her mind because ADD Josh just leaves stuff, whatever. But in this application, I want to not just open doors, I want to close them. I want to have closure. I just want any answer. Even if it's bleep off, never call me again. Fine. I don't, then I just delete them. Who cares? I want closure on as many people or with as many as possible. Now, there are a couple more numbers that are DNC on this one. There's some landlines down lower. But you know what? I don't really care, because that's Stephen. And that's who I'm trying to talk to. Now, I will, there are 5 emails. I am tapping to email all 5 emails. Boom. One of these is Stephen's real number. If I had to guess, it's probably this one. First name, last name at Hotmail. And as crazy as that sounds, some people still do that, use that. That one probably isn't his, but I'm still going to send it. I would guess that this is the last 2 are business emails. So one way or another, I'm tracking down an answer from Stephen. I'm going to mark done for the week. And I've got one more in this deck or in this pond that I'm going to reach out to before I pivot to the pond that I built to work for Duncan. First position landline, not on the DNC. Name is Alan. Let's see what happens. Ooh, okay. So it seems like that number is not a working number. Let me just make sure. Okay. Not a working number. What do we do? Well, I hide it, first and foremost, so that I don't waste time the next time coming through. There's another landline that's on the DNC. I'm going to copy that number, and I'll do a quick Google search to see. And it looks like I'm not finding justification to warrant me disregarding. So let's do this. Let's hit the enhanced skip trace. Okay, hit the enhanced skip trace and let's see what we get. I can also tell that I very likely have a good working email from him or for him. So regardless of what happens from the enhanced skip trace, I have it is a very strong possibility that I will get a response from him from email. The way we've crafted the pre-populated emails, and I've done enough of this to know that I have like, when you do enough of this work, you start to recognize things and patterns, and like, I can tell looking at this, very likely that that we've got a match there. For whatever reason, the enhanced has taken a while. While that's working, I'm going to go ahead and send the emails. There are 2 emails there, and sent those. Request timed out. I wonder why it did that, Sean.
I can check.
Yeah. It worked on the card before. So I don't know.
Why'd I get hung up?
Yeah. I'm going to wait for it to try and append here before I pivot to the next deck. By the way, if you're in the school community, and if you're not, I don't know why you wouldn't be. One deal a week in real estate is the free school community. Come hang out in there. You can drop questions in the chat if you want, and if you want, I can even, if you want me to open your line and allow you to ask a question, we can do that too. It looks like it's just hanging up. Well, we'll get to the bottom of that. Sometimes we get little snafus. I'm going to switch. Where is that deck that we just built? 17013. It's helpful that it has the dates because I have a bunch of decks in here because I use this thing a lot. Okay, so first one here, mobile number, not on the DNC. Let's rock and roll. Exciting. Exciting stuff. Voicemail. Darmesh, hey, this is Josh with eXp Realty. I was calling about an off-market ranch house in Carlisle. It'll be coming on market soon, but the seller is incredibly motivated, probably best as a long-term rental. And I was reaching out to see if that's something that you might be interested in, and if not, who you might know that would be interested. If you could let me know either way, this is my personal cell. I'll shoot you a text as well. Thanks, and have a great day. I love when this happens. I mean, I've already using this exact blueprint. I've already had a text exchange with him. So, because of that, I'm not going to use our default pre-populated text because that is designed more for the first time we've had a discussion. But he is saved in my phone as a pocket buyer. I just didn't realize. Just left you a voicemail, period. I was reaching out about an off-market ranch home that we will have coming on the market soon, period. The seller is extremely motivated. period. Probably best as a long-term rental, period. Interested, question mark. And if not, who do you know that might be interested, question mark. Boom. So, because I've already talked with, I'm still going to email, because why not? I want to leave no stone unturned. But because I've already saved him in here and I just hadn't done this before, I'm going to heart him as well. And then I'm going to hit the thumbs up to clear that out. And have I talked with Steven? I feel like I've talked with Steven. Let's go ahead. So first number, mobile number on the DNC. Let's go ahead and quick search it. Not showing up there. Let's see if I've got a good, yep, I've got an email. This is definitely his email. First name, last name at Gmail, that's his email. So I'm not going to worry too much about the fact that the 3 numbers listed. And then the third position is first name, last name at Comcast, which is a common email in our market. One way or another, that's his real email. He owns 15 properties, $4.5 million in AVM value. I really want to talk to this person. So I'm going to try the enhanced. Is it? We're not out of those the enhanced credits, are we?
It rolled right over, but
Yeah.
I'm checking. I got something else is doing.
So while I'm doing that, I'll share sort of I don't know how the tool works. So when we pull, I pulled this deck of 35 portfolio buyers. Number one, all of those portfolio buyers own at least 5 properties. Number two, when the deck is pulled, we get lots of great intel on every card, which again, if you're interested in the Jumpstart program or you're already a user, if you're interested in the Jumpstart program, go to leaddeck.ai/jumpstart. The link is in the description, or should be also, leaddeck.ai/jumpstart. In that, we give you 25 portfolio buyers, 25 tired landlords, and 25 leads that you can use, you can allocate as you see fit. Every card, portfolio buyer or tired landlord or whatever, comes with lots of incredible, very detailed information. For example, the primary mailing address. On the portfolio buyer side, how many properties? Steven owns 15. Contact information, as much as we can possibly find. Detailed breakdown of the portfolio. Last property purchased. Lots of incredible details that can help us have better conversations. And also, you can enhance the skip trace, which is a more advanced way of skip tracing when we don't have contact information that we can work to try and find other ways to reach, in this case, the portfolio buyer. I'm going to move on to the next one here. So one phone number listed on the DNC. I'm going to email these. And so this one, they own 10 properties, 3.6 in value, 2.2 in equity. Those are estimates based upon AVM values of the properties in the portfolio, right? So it's not 100% accurate, but it's useful. And also for me, it makes me more compelled and convicted to have a conversation with them. Because that to me screams that there's some opportunity with this person. Are they looking to buy? What are they looking to buy? And do they have anything they would consider an offer on or consider selling right now? Oh, one of the ones that showed up is already a pocket buyer. So I can mark her because I already texted her earlier. do that and that. And then this one I definitely have not talked to before. Okay, so I'm going to work one or two more here, and then I'm going to bring this bird in for a landing because I have, I like to work in 1 hour blocks of time like this, 1 hour focused blocks of time. And I already have my hit list or my to-do list for tomorrow, and time permitting, another block this afternoon because I've got more of these. I've got the the pocket buyers that I identified in my bold trail that I can email and text. I also need to do the bump text for my monthly home value update campaign. All of this is geared towards having more conversations so I can have more connections that lead to more contracts and ultimately more closings. Right now I have 5 pending or 6 pending that will close in August and early September. But let's get it. I want to get it deeper and deeper and deeper. And why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? If you're a team leader and you want to talk about how we can do a 1 day, half or full day boot camp or a 3-day, 3-day series or challenge, I would love to chat with you. You can reach out to me directly, 717-571-0456, or you can DM me in the school community or just drop a comment on wherever you're at. And if you're an individual agent and this is resonating with you and you could see how this would be a great way for you to sell more real estate in your local market, you absolutely should check out the leaddeck.ai/jumpstart. Leaddeck.ai/jumpstart. It's our 1 deal a week jumpstart program, which is a wonderful entry point that will get you full access, a 14 days of full access to Lead Deck with 75 leads ready to rock, our 1 deal a week playbook so you know exactly what to do. And there's a bunch of other bonuses as well. Just go to leaddeck.ai/jumpstart. For those of you who may be watching and you're in our accelerator group for August, we have that launches. The first group coaching call for that group is this afternoon or at noon Eastern today. Excited to share that. Tomorrow we have the Lead Deck demo, which is perfect because I can use that time and that demonstration time to work more of the leads and demonstrate that way. And if you have any questions, need any help with anything, you can DM in school, reach out. We're happy to help any way we can. Thanks for spending some time. 1 deal a week blueprint in real life. A couple of opportunities that I'm working to turn one result into more results and more reasons to have conversations, to get connections, to get contracts and closings.
When you Google search somebody,